Hi, my name is Rachel Long, and I'm here today to discuss social and economic implications of climate change. I wanted to first discuss somewhere that hits close to home, and that is Ohio. In the next couple slides, I'm going to discuss how climate change will impact a people in Ohio. One example of an impact climate change has on Ohio is flooding. In Ohio, nearly 400,000 people are living in areas at elevated risk of inland flooding. According to the resource analysis, nearly 20% of homes in West Virginia, 5% in Kentucky, and 2.3% in Ohio were at risk of seeing structural damage due to flooding. This puts more than 230,000 residential properties eligible for federal flood insurance at risk in the Ohio Valley. Today, Ohio averages about 5 dangerous heat days per year. By 2050, the state is projected to see 30 dangerous heat days a year. Floods can wreak havoc on Ohio homes and businesses, but they also have serious implications on the health of Ohio residents. Floods can expose us to waterborne illnesses like wound infections, dermatitis, conjunctivitis, and ear, nose, and throat infections, as well as releasing toxic chemicals into our drinking supply. Ohio is home to hundreds of thousands of people vulnerable to extreme heat and flooding, and this threat is expected to increase by 2050. Now, I want to discuss somewhere that doesn't necessarily hit close to home, but still can show the horrible impacts climate change has on an area. In the next couple slides, I'm going to be discussing how climate change impacts people in Germany. Germany is the largest national economy in Europe and fourth largest in the world, and rising temperatures have been becoming a problem. The number of extremely hot days have increased the past several decades. Climate change as a whole is leading to long-term impacts on agriculture in Germany, more intense heat waves and cold waves, flash and coastal flooding, and reduced water availability. In major cities, including Berlin and Hamburg, they cannot escape the urban heat island effect. This happens when natural landscapes are replaced with buildings and asphalt streets that absorb and store more heat, making cities warmer than surrounding areas. Also, major rivers shrinking could have a serious impact on everything from German agriculture to energy production. Power plants extract water from nearby rivers as part of their necessary cooling systems. If river water is already too warm or the water levels in summer are too low, a lack of sufficient cooling water could result in functionality problems for power plants across the country. Now, I want to circle back to Ohio, and I want to discuss the economic impacts from climate change in Ohio. There's an estimate we'll need to increase spending by 1.8 billion to 5.9 billion a year by 2050 to address worsening effects of climate change, according to the Ohio Environmental Council. The increased costs reflect the need to mitigate a host of challenges on the horizon, from crumbling roads to hotter school rooms to the need for enhanced water treatment. Climate change-driven flooding can lead to traffic disruptions, construction activity delay, and weakening and washing out of soil culverts that support roads, tunnels, and bridges. It estimates that local governments will need to shell out anywhere from 580 million to 2.2 billion to mitigate the effect of harmful algae blooms that will be enhanced by warmer water temperatures and heavy rains attributed to climate change. It is estimated that Cleveland alone will have to spend an additional 19 million to 71 million above its baseline cost of 26 million to battle the toxic blooms, which so far have been largely confined in the western basin of Lake Erie and blamed primarily on rain-related runoff from FARs in the Maui River watershed that send algae-inducing nutrients into the lake. Lastly, I want to talk about the bigger picture, the world's economy. Not just Ohio, not just the United States. I want to talk about everywhere and how climate change will impact us. The overall aggregate effect of climate change on economic growth will most likely be negative in the long run. Global warming will primarily influence economic growth through damage to property and infrastructure, lost productivity, mass migration, and security threats. Inflationary effects of global warming on the world economy. High energy costs are also likely to boost inflation. As our climate becomes more extreme, we're likely to demand greater energy to both cool our working and living environments during the summer and heat them when we experience harsher winters. We have all been experiencing the heat waves and all the harsher summers that we have been having. And we all know that we've been having a lot more worse winters also. Not only will energy demand change, but supply may shrink as the efficiency of existing power stations is compromised due to higher temperatures. That includes my presentation on the social and economic implications of climate change. I'm here if you need any questions or if you have any concerns. I'll be happy to address them and answer them for you. Thank you.